Hello and welcome everyone to the RAWABET Center. Basra's demonstrations entered a new phase since last week after the burning of many political parties' headquarters, in addition to the Iranian consulate, right after the death of many protesters who died unfortunately because of some clashes that happened during the demonstrations. Now, many news agencies said that the protesters are the one who's responsible on storming the Iranian consulate building and setting the fire in it. However, right after that incident, a statement released by Basra's activists saying that they are not responsible on what happened to the Iranian consulate or any building that is related to the Iraqi government. And that raises the question of who actually burned the Iranian consulate. ISIS were one of the first to say that, oh, we are the one that did it, we are back again, we are expanding again. And the thing is with ISIS right now in Iraq, they are like media clowns. And what I mean by that is that they just wait for something to happen and they just evaluate. If it has some impact, then they will actually claim the attack. And that is exactly what they did with Basra. I mean, how can members of ISIS terrorists go down all the way to a governorate that sent tens and thousands of its people to join the Iraqi army and the Popular Mobilization Forces and the Iraqi forces to fight terrorism, and walk with these protesters who knows each other really well? Because at the governorates in Iraq, we know each other really well. Really, it's really a close community. So for them just to walk with them for weeks and just wait for the opportunity to storm the Iranian consulate and set the fire in it is like a fairy tale, to be honest with you. Now, the Iranian officials as well had comments about it, of course, because it's their consulate that got burned, and they said that the Baathist Party is responsible on burning the Iranian consulate because they are not happy with the ties that Baghdad and Tehran are having right now. The thing is, now Iran are talking about a regime that ended 15 years ago. And let's not forget that Basra had an uprising against the Iraqi government in 1991. So how come the Baathist Party is being so popular right now again in Basra and walking with the people and leading the people without announcing anything, and did that kind of burning to the Iranian consulate? That's not really fair for those people who are just asking for water and electricity and jobs. That's just very normal demands. They are not asking really for that much. Now, Ahmed who is a member of Basra's Governorate Council, decided to make a very nice cocktail of everyone around, the members from ISIS terrorists, members of Baathist Party, countries, consulates, embassies, some intelligence from inside and outside. He said that all of them are cooperated actually and did all what they did to Basra. And that sounded like a statement from a conspiracy theorist. It's unreal, to be honest with you, for all those parties to cooperate together and do that thing to Basra. It doesn't really make any sense. It's not going to even help into knowing who actually burned the Iranian consulate. So the second in command of the Popular Mobilization Forces, Mr. Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis, said, and I quote, "We have a complete information and documents showing that the U.S. Embassy and Consulate should be blamed for the unrest in Basra." Now, this is the very first statement that we can actually, find some information out of it, some proofs, some documents. And the thing is, the question here is that why Mr. Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis doesn't go and present this information to the investigation team that was formed by Dr. Haidar al-Abadi, in order to know that, okay, the United States did that, and then we can present it to the whole world. And then we don't have to blame the protesters in Iran or whoever did that. You know, I don't even know really why it's not presented until now to the Iraqi government. Dr. Haidar al-Abadi himself had a recent visit to Basra in order to do some forms there for everything that is going on in Basra, and he had some comments about the things that happened to the Iranian consulate and the other buildings that are related to the Iraqi government. And he said, and I quote, that what happened in Basra is because of the disputes of the political blocs that has military wings. And that is really interesting. It sounds like Dr. Haidar al-Abadi has some information out of the investigations that are done, and I don't really understand why he's not really revealing some more specific information to us, because those political blocs, some of them are going to lead the country, some of them are going to be at the opposition party. We need to know really who did that, because Otherwise, if we don't really know exactly who did it, then we will not really be able to move forward, because those people are right now, we will have, a prime minister, we will have a parliament speaker, we're going to have a president for Iraq, and those people are running the country, running the ministries. We can't just afford to let them, keep going on if they are responsible on what happened. Now, also, the New York Times had an article of what happened really in Basra, and one really comment attracted my eye from Laith, who is 46 years old, said the protesters should not be blamed for the violence. Instead, politicians should be held accountable for the poor quality of life. Well, this is a very good comment, really, and I do agree with it that, the very first people that we have to question is the security forces. There was supposed to be some security at the Iranian consulate and also some security at the other buildings. Why they didn't do anything? Because the protesters really are not carrying any weapons. How can that actually just happen to these buildings without any reports from any of the security? We just received short films on Twitter and, the other social media like Facebook, for example, and then we saw everything that is happening without any security or any protection. Now, there is something really interesting about what happened to the Iranian consulate. Fars news agency, the night after or the day after of the incident, they really reported the news like that, and something really attracted me about the way that I reported the news. Now, let me just read for you the news here. Demonstrators on Friday broke into the consulate building in Basra, which was empty when the crowd burst in. The word empty. Empty means that there's no employees, there are no security, and probably there are no documents, nothing precious there at the consulate, only the building itself and a flag. Sounds like some sort of a trap for the demonstrators. Sounds like a game played there just to ruin the demonstrations that are going on. I'm not quite sure really, because it's really suspicious. If you just compare the Iranian consulate to the US consulate is protected. And there are security there. And there are people inside it. And there are documents and everything that is important. But why the Iranian consulate is not having all that? And why the people there who appeared, about 45 people, I guess, or 50, I don't know, at the videos and at the pictures, some of them are actually covering their faces. Why they are covering their faces? Why they don't want to show their identity? And why some of the people who are showing their faces weren't questioned by the investigation team that is formed by Al-Adhame? They're supposed to be questioned for what happened, and we are supposed to be seeing something that is happening there during the investigations and see some actions, legal actions, in order just to, because Iran, are asking for their rights and they are asking for some more money. And, we really need to sort these things out. Otherwise, if we just keep blaming ISIS and Baathist Party and everyone else, we are not going to go anywhere like this. This is just not right. Now, also Reuters reported exactly the same thing that Fars news agency reported. So if we just assume that there was like a mistake by the editor of Fars news agency, well, Reuters as well said, and let me just read it for you here. Security sources said the consulate was empty when the crowd burst in. Iraq's foreign ministry said the storming of the consulate, which it deeply regretted, had nothing to do with the protesters' demands. And that seems like exactly what happened. People just stormed the place, burned the place, and we don't know whether they are actually related to some protesters or not. But according to the activists, as I mentioned before, they didn't really do it. Those people doesn't really represent the demands of the protesters. So are these people related really to political blocs that has military wings? Are these members in the military wings of these political blocs that Al-Adhame mentioned before? I don't even know, and we need to know actually. So now, as I presented everything to you, I hope that you concluded something, and it's your time and your choice to pick who actually burned the Iranian consulate. Thank you for watching.